Hey Kings, how you doing? I'm back again, and this is really a time I think we should talk about safe ways to actually increase penile length and also girth, so the thickness and the length safely, like scientifically proven methods. Because I'm not about to play with you, right? After the first two parts of this sexuality education series, if you don't know, we have two videos before now, please go watch it. I got the tip off that this was more serious than I thought, right? And sadly, some kings have lost their lives worrying, obsessive about their length. And of course, the things that contribute to that we're also going to talk about. And in the course of this video, I will also let you know what condition your penile length will be before you begin to consider increase in the first place. I'm also going to let you know all the methods that you need, that you can apply, that you can decide to do. And yes, I'll go ahead to let you know also the ones that are not recommended and why. Okay, in the course of this video, if you have any questions and you have further questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section, because to inform the next videos that I'll go all out to bring answers for you. If today is your first time, welcome. This is where we talk about everything men, improvement, self-improvement, and also unveiling women for the men who love them. Now, what I need you to do is to give this video a thumbs up. That lets the algorithm know that I love this video and they recommend it to more men like you. Now, if you understand where my pain is, the fact that it can actually lead to suicide and is leading to suicide, then you should send this to a brother, share this with a men community, and I'll be very grateful. The sounds you're hearing are that of rainfall outside. Please pardon me, we have to shoot this video either way. Okay, thank you. All right, so going into the details of this, why I said this is scientifically proven, I had to sit at the feet of a urologist, and I'm not joking, guys. This is again, did you know kind of information, and I don't just get them from off Google, from everywhere, from what people are saying, right? So because I know that this is very important and I prioritize you, and this is why, of course, you're the reason this channel exists in the first place, right? The fact that there's so much going on to the extent of suicide, it made me really sober, guys. And researching and asking questions to about 50,000 men, 50,000. And among the 50,000 men, a whole 55% of them said they were unhappy with their penile size, so whether length and girth. That is overwhelming. That made me understand why there's so much push, there's so much search, about how do I increase my penile length on the internet. And that's why I'm providing this lifeline also. Now, the tricky thing about this 55% of men, remember, are just from a segment of 50,000 men. So look at the whole world and what probably is going on in the mind of men. There's so much distress and anxiety amongst more than half of the population. Going by that research, I can take it that way. More than half of the population of men are worried about their penile length, their penile girth. What happens to their credit card. If you listen to my other video, I said let's refer to it as the credit card. Okay, now I discovered that an average man thinks and worries about his penile length, whether it is okay or not, 1 hour in every 24 hours. Did you know? I'm sure you might be saying, oh, I thought I was the only one. 1 hour a day at least an average man thinks about and worries, not just thinks about it, worries about the fact that, oh, my penile region is not exactly what I want. I wish I can have it bigger, longer, all of that. Did you also know that there is such an overwhelming obsession around this? And that's why I started with the fact that suicide is happening because of this. It's a very serious problem, guys, in the men community. Now, what is the reality? Millions and millions of men are every day researching, asking, trying out products to increase their penile length, increase their penile girth, which is the thickness or the circumference. Another fact that is a reality is that thousands are going to do all kinds of procedures, going under the knife, doing all kinds of surgery that are not necessary by medical standards. They are not necessary. You know, I thought of something when I was doing this research. I remember a few years back, just not so long ago, 4 years ago in 2019. So somebody I knew was like, oh, okay, you can increase your butt size. You know, for women, we are obsessing about butt size, boob size, and all that. So this obsession is everywhere. Okay, so he told me there are natural things I can actually do. I actually went to the market. So you're not alone. I actually went to the market, bought those things, about 3 products now, 3 seeds, some oil and all that, and I mixed them all up and I started rubbing it. But you know what, where I became a bit skeptical, I was like, if this thing actually increases butt size, so you rub it in every morning like, you know, you would use your moisturizer, then my hands, which I'm using to rub them in, is supposed to actually also be increasing. Get my drift. And that's one thing that some people have thought about or have not thought about, even while trying to use all of the products that are being sold to them off of the streets, the pharmacies, and everywhere. Let me tell you, the penile enlargement industry is such a huge industry, and medically the marketing is false. Remember, I'm giving you facts that are scientific from a urologist point of view. I'm not a urologist, but I'm saying that I went to sit down to learn to get these facts for you. Another reality is that most hospitals that are licensed will not encourage, accept to do any sort of surgery or procedure to increase penile length or girth. That's a reality. Now, let's look at other aspects of this issue. Why is there such an anxiety? Why is there such an obsession? Why is there even suicide happening? One, pornography. Pornography is landing most kings into situations where they didn't bargain. And this is really sad. Abnormal can never be normal. It can never be normal. Best believe that what you have is what is normal. Even in my other video where I mentioned the ideal sex duration, right? What you can go in most cases is average, is what is normal. Forget about what's happening with pornography and all of that. Those are a huge industry and it's a business. As long as I'm concerned, I think they're just entertainment, right? And anybody can earn honest living doing what gives them money. So if they're making up stuff, whether natural or not, is their own business. Until further proven scientifically, there still might be natural ways of doing certain things, but until then, they are still in the works. Until then, we do not know whether some of these things work. I know that this video is giving you safe ways to increase your penile length. So I'm not preaching to you about what you shouldn't do. I'm going to give you the steps, the procedures, the names of the things you can actually try that are proven scientifically. So hold on and keep watching. Another reason for all of this obsession is women's opinion. I think this should even come first. The fact that we want to come off as strong, big, all that. You know the shocking thing? First, we are women. We don't have penises. So we cannot know, except we go to research like I have done, like I'm doing for years for the men community. Except we come from a point of knowledge. We might just put an extra burden on you for no reason. You have no reason to make a woman's opinion of your genitals lead you to do things that may have their consequences. And you know the truth. Among the 50,000 men who were interviewed in the survey, where 55% said they were unhappy about their penis, guess what? 85% of their partners, the women in those men's lives, 85% of them said they were actually okay with the size of their partner. They were okay with the penile length and girth of their men, even though their men, most of them are worrying themselves to death, right? Another reason, another reality, another reason why all of this is happening is the idea of masculinity that you have. I think that most men think of masculinity as something that is not real. You know, it has to be brave, big, all that. You need to know that who you are is not who the next man is. It's not who the next boy is. It's not who the next woman is. We are all bounded by our common humanity, and we are different. Just like God, there is no one like you. You're a man, right? Yes. But there's no man that is you, that will ever be you, till any generation comes and goes. Have you thought about that? So your length, your girth, your circumstances are entirely custom made for you. Nobody should compare you with anybody. You shouldn't do that to yourself either. Right? Now, let me tell you the men who should even bother to increase their penile length. If you watch the previous videos, the average length and girth I have mentioned, you should go watch that video to know what the average is. Scientifically, hospital facts and data, right? Now, men who should bother at all about their penile length and stuff are men who have length lower than 2.9 inches long and less. That is about 7.5 centimeter and less. Those are the men that should worry at all. If there is any need to worry at all. And so these are men who are referred to having micro penises. And let me tell you, the population of men who have that condition is less than 1%. It is actually 0.4% of men that have such conditions. And is it a condition? That's nature, because there are a few things cause it. You know, birth, hormone, and all of those combine to cause those kind of rare conditions. So now, assuming you're one of the less than 1% of men who have micro penises, then let's talk. If you're above 2.9, fine, except watching my fine face and getting more facts to educate other men, you really don't have any business trying to increase your penile length at this point. Yes, you heard it from here. Facts. Okay, now if your length is less than 2.9 inches with 7.5 centimeter and less, then I'm going to give you two main ways you can increase your penile length and size. And those two ways are surgical and non-surgical. Now let's look at non-surgical first, right? That's where the safety, is safer, right? Under non-surgical, we have four main types of treatments that you can take to increase penile length. Now, none of these methods are 100%. None of these methods work for every man. None of this method is like short banker, right? So I'm going to still share among these four how many that, I leave it to you to choose, but I'm going to give you all that you need to know about each of them. Are you ready? So we're taking the first category with four types: the non-surgical procedures and the four different treatments under non-surgical procedures. Let's go. Number one, you can use penile extenders. Yeah, so they look like this. There are different types of it as well. So what they do is that they help push the penis from the base to the tip, that way, right? No, there are different ways that those things are made, like you can see in the pictures. And then the thing is, you have to take them as exercises. The popular one is Jelkin, right? They are all under this same penile extenders devices, right? Jelkin is part of it. So it's the matter, the same way people kind of masturbate. That's the way it goes, from base to tip, to move blood flow, all through the penis and allow you to get some volume. The upside down of this is that you have to do this exercise so many hours, minutes, every day for months to see some kind of improvement, right? So you have to be ready. It is said to be the safest because there are no side effects per se, but you may malhandle this. Remember, that's a tissue and you have some tissue issues. So this is the safest way. This is the safest until you get to the fourth type here. Okay, so keep watching. I have a few men who have said they have had success with this, and I'm going to share their comments here and here. You can read. Yeah. Now, if you're going to use the device, people who have used this and done this judiciously for every day for months have said to gain at least 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters, I think is the maximum, 2 centimeters to their length. It's good, the results are good if you're able to do it, but the cons are that you will have bruises, you might bruise your tissue, you might have scars, all of that. So yeah. The second one, non-surgical procedure, vacuum erection devices. Vacuum erection devices, when put to test, it didn't work. It will look like penis is bigger and longer after using the device, just immediately after using the device, but then it goes back to normal size. So this particular one, urologist advised that it did not work. I would also advise don't bother with that, right? The third non-surgical type of treatment you can take is penile injectables. So there are lots of injections you can take to increase it, they say, right? But once again, the urologist had this to say, that the side effect of those injections can last over 40 years. The consequences last over a long time and is not advised. Yes, injecting anything into your penis, into anywhere, is not advised medically. That's part of why hospitals will never really broach the topic, but they will refer you to the fourth one, which is actually the safest. The fourth non-surgical treatment for you to take, this is what I recommend, and this is part of what I'm doing. Yes, psychological counseling and care, letting you know that your length is okay, teaching you exactly what you can do with the length and the thickness that you currently have, teaching you not to listen to any opinion from any woman or any man about your size, caring for you enough to help you overcome the anxiety and the obsession you already have about this. This has been said to have the huge, is there anything like most hugest results so far. A lot of men said, oh my gosh, after listening to your video, I just knew that I was okay and everything just became fine. It looks like the penis is increasing by itself. So it has always been there, but anxiety will rob you of what you already have. So if you also need me to keep telling you more about why you should man up with what you have, then let me know in the comment section. Okay, so these are the 4 treatments non-surgically that you can embark on if you think you have a micro penis, like we have said. Now let's go to the surgery. There is a surgery that is done to help to try to increase penile length or maybe girth. Did I mention in the non-surgical treatment, the penile injectables has been said to be not recommended at all, and also it has been said that it has very dire consequences, very devastating consequences. Please don't try it. Do not inject anything into your body. Okay, so let me continue. The surgery that is usually done to try to increase this for people who have micro penises, first of all, this surgery's result does not add more than half an inch. Yeah, it does not add more than half an inch. Now, the name of this surgery is called suspensory ligament incision. So there's a cut in the penis, stretched in a way. I'm not a doctor, so let me not explain, but that's what it's called. It's done in very rare cases of micro penis situations, and medically it's advised that if at all you want to risk taking that route, make sure that you go to an organization, a medical organization that has a board that has documented facts about their trials that has not failed, and have evidence that there are no side effects, and have evidence that it's going to work. So when you're done researching that, then and you're okay, then you can try to take that procedure and add just a half an inch, if at all it's going to work. My advice, don't try it. Do not try it. The surgery is said to cut into your cartilages and ligaments and all that, and sometimes when it fails, which is almost all the time, it fails, the penis become an accessory. It becomes non-functional. That's scary. It becomes scarred. It becomes bruised in a way that it becomes a lump of dead meat. I wouldn't want that for you. Not for you, not for your generation, not for your wife. I wouldn't want that for you. That's why I've also said in my other videos that there's not really much that can be done to increase your natural endowments down there. Psychologically, I would say, think about it again. Why are you so worried? Sometimes what we think people expect might not be where they're coming from. Everybody's free to have their opinion, but you are also supposed to be free to stand on your conviction and stand in the pride of who you are. Your penile size and length is genetic. It came from God. It came from nature. The universe is doing everything to make it work for your good. So even if you want to go for any of those methods, the extension, anything, make sure you still go through the psychological counseling and care first. If you think you're okay, you're at the point where you're no longer anxious and you're clear-headed enough to want to try to keep doing all that and all that for months, then that's fine. Okay? I hope I was able to put your mind at rest, to help you understand this as a layman, because I'm like you, right? Without having to bring all the jargons that I read and I heard and I listened to, right? I wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to understand, so that it's also easy for you to share with another man, to share with a boy who's already worrying. I remember discussing this with my husband, and he was like, oh, when he was in his early 20s till his early 30s, he was also very worried about his length and breadth. I actually have dated somebody who was always telling me how he knows he's not all that, and I kept wondering why. I wasn't even talking about it. I wasn't even interested. But he kept saying it. He kept saying, oh, I know I'm big, but I mean, I'm not that or down there. Now, I didn't know whether that was an invitation to try, for me to try it or not. He just kept describing himself by the length of his penis. So I know this is a very big issue, okay? You have to make the best out of what you have. Many men who have gone through some of these unreversible procedures have ended up with penises that are worse than it naturally was. Yeah. Another thing I would like you to do, please, learn to open up and educate women and your partner, your wife, or any women in your life who has an opinion at all about your size, about these things that you're learning. Let them understand. They don't have penises, so let them understand how it works and why it's dangerous to want to try anything and why you would not be trying anything. And then go ahead and knock her off. Knock her off her expectation. Remember, focus on the pleasure, not the length or the size. And if you want to know how to do that, watch my previous 2 videos and also ask me any further questions you may have, and I'll be most willing to answer you. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope that this has been able to help you to, just calm down. Throw away those products. If you have already made the mistakes, please go back and see your doctor and begin the remedy from there. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in my next video.